One small mistake in fall can ruin your entire spring garden. Have you ever stood in your garden in early spring, looking at hard, cracked soil, weak seedlings, seeds that just won't sprout, and wondered, what did I do wrong? I've met many people like that. Honestly, I've been one of them. One fall after the harvest, I cleaned up the garden. I raked up all the dry leaves and threw them away. I stopped watering because the weather was cooler. I told myself, it's fine. I'll deal with the soil again in spring. Sounds reasonable, right? But a few months later, the garden pushed back. The soil was hard like concrete. Young plants struggled. Pests showed up earlier than usual. That's when I realized a truth most people never talk about. The garden doesn't really go to sleep in winter. Fall is actually when the soil needs care the most. It's the moment when kitchen scraps and fallen leaves, things many people call trash, can become your most valuable resource for next spring. And if you miss this window, the price isn't paid right away. It comes slowly, quietly, and relentlessly. 1. Leaving the soil bare after harvest. The biggest mistake nobody notices. Let me ask you to imagine this. After months of hard work, you're told to stand outside in wind and rain for 3 months. No jacket, no food, no care. That's exactly what we do to our soil when we leave it bare in fall. After harvest, many gardeners think, I'll leave it for now and till it in spring. I used to think that too. But soil isn't an empty plastic pot. It's a living ecosystem. When soil is exposed, fall and winter rains wash away nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, the nutrients plants need most. Cold and wind compact the soil, collapse air pockets, and kill beneficial microbes. By spring, you think you're planting in soil, but what you really have is exhausted ground. A gardening friend once told me he doubled his fertilizer and watered more in spring, but plants still struggled. The problem didn't start in spring. It started in fall. One golden rule of sustainable gardening: never leave soil bare. Cover it with dry leaves, straw, wood chips, or even a thin layer of compost. Don't dig it in. Let rain and time do the work. This is when your kitchen scraps stop being waste and start becoming food for the soil. 2. Stopping watering too early. The cool weather trap. Have you ever thought, it's cooler now? Plants don't need much water? You're not alone. Cool temperatures don't mean life stops. In fact, fall is when roots grow aggressively, expanding deep into the soil to prepare for winter. And roots need water to do that. When plants go into winter stressed and dry, their cells are weaker. When frost hits, damage is far more severe. That's why some plants die in winter, even though they looked fine in fall. My advice is simple. Stick your finger about 2 inches into the soil. If it's dry, water. No fancy tools needed. Yes, AI can now predict soil moisture and frost dates, but your hands are still one of the most reliable tools you have. Water slowly and deeply, preferably in the morning. You're training your plants for a marathon, not a sprint. 3. Planting at the wrong time. Too early or too late. Both fail. Fall is a double-edged sword. Plant at the right time and roots establish beautifully. Plant at the wrong time and you waste effort. Plant too late and roots don't settle before frost. Plant too early while it's still hot and many leafy greens panic and bolt. A common mistake is planting by feeling instead of planning. Smart gardeners know their average first frost date. They count backward using the plant's growth time and add a buffer. For perennials and shrubs, fall is actually ideal. As long as you plant about 6 weeks before the ground freezes, roots will adapt just fine. Many people miss this simply because they didn't plan ahead. 4. Cleaning the garden too much. When neat kills nature. Here's the paradox of modern gardening. The cleaner the garden looks, the weaker it often becomes. Dry leaves and dead stems aren't trash. They're winter shelter for beneficial insects. They're blankets that keep soil warm. They're food for microbes. When you remove everything, you're not just removing mess, you're removing life. The result? More pests in spring. Colder soil. Slower plant growth. Sustainable gardening isn't about making your yard look like a living room. It's about selective care. Remove diseased plants. Leave healthy leaves around trees and beds. Put the excess into compost. Nature never wastes anything. Only humans think everything needs to be thrown away. 5. Leaving plants that shouldn't survive winter. Not everything green deserves to stay. Tomato vines, squash plants, and diseased crops, if left behind, become luxury hotels for fungi, pest eggs, and weed seeds. They overwinter together and explode in spring. The rule is simple. Diseased plants go out completely, never into compost. Healthy plants can be chopped and composted or used as mulch. Keep only cold-hardy crops and perennials and protect their roots well. It's an emotional decision, but a necessary one for long-term garden health. 6. Composting wrong in fall, turning treasure into trash. Fall is compost gold season. Leaves everywhere. Kitchen scraps still coming daily. But abundance leads to mistakes. Too many dry leaves slow decomposition. No turning creates anaerobic, smelly piles. When people say, compost smells bad, it's not compost. It's technique. A simple starting ratio, 2 parts dry leaves to 1 part kitchen scraps. Chop materials small. Keep moisture like a wrung-out sponge. Turn occasionally. One day, AI may monitor compost temperature and moisture perfectly. But if habits are wrong, no technology can save exhausted soil. 7. Underestimating frost, the overnight killer. Frost doesn't need weeks. One night is enough. The solution is simple but often ignored. Cover plants with fabric, sheets, or old blankets before sunset. Secure the edges. Remove covers in the morning. Never use plastic directly. For extra protection, water the soil during the day before frost. Moist soil holds heat better than dry soil. Basic physics, but it can save your entire garden. 8. Not taking notes, losing your most valuable data. Modern gardeners don't just plant, they learn from data. Failures repeat because we forget what we did last year. Keep simple notes: weather, planting dates, what worked, what failed. Over time, patterns emerge. When you combine experience, data, and future AI tools, you're not just gardening, you're practicing smart, sustainable agriculture. Fall doesn't end the garden, it decides its future. If you remember just one thing from this video, let it be this. Spring gardens don't start in spring, they start in fall. What you do when everyone else has packed it in makes all the difference. When you cover soil instead of leaving it bare. When you keep watering even as temperatures drop. When you leave fallen leaves instead of removing them. When you compost kitchen scraps correctly. You're not just caring for plants, you're feeding a living ecosystem. Sustainable gardening doesn't require expensive technology or complicated tools. It requires the right mindset and patience. AI may help us predict and optimize in the future, but the most important decisions still happen with your hands and your habits today. Every vegetable peel, every dry leaf, every time you choose to compost instead of throw away, you're giving back to the soil what it gave us: life. And when the soil is healthy, plants thrive. Families eat safer food. Nature becomes whole again. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the Compost channel and join me in building healthier gardens, greener habits, and a more sustainable future, starting right at home.